that.
So it's part of the world we live in. People are tired. They're doing and doing and doing more. In particular, during the stress of right now. Yesterday and today, high stress. Perfect time to meditate. Find that calm center and allow yourself to be at ease.
The stress of modern life is real, and I am definitely not immune. I've made my career in the computer industry, and let me tell you what, that is a high stress environment. Meditation helps me to calm some of those voices, to say, it's okay. I don't have to respond in a knee-jerk reaction. I can take a step and I can understand that situation more clearly so that I can respond more effectively.
Yep. So what she says is become aware that you're tired. Recognize the fatigue, whatever it is. Become aware of it and acknowledge it. I like the phrase, make peace with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the experience, the concern, the stress is, find a way to make peace with it. And for me, sometimes in my head, that means talking to it.
Mm-hmm.
I personify whatever it is. But whatever you need to do to acknowledge it, recognize it, and then
not judge it.
Yeah, not judge it. That's important.
Same thing with allowing your mind wander. We're all you really have to be aware of, if your mind wanders, if you get tired, or if you have this third thing's coming up, if you have physical or emotional pain, let me tell you what, sometimes if you are in regular meditative practice, some little piece of emotional pain, maybe something from your past, maybe something that you're going through right now, it'll come up, and that's okay.
Mindfulness is about being aware, about opening yourself in a safe way, in a safe environment, to dealing with all of these other parts of yourself. Self-awareness requires.
That's right.
That you recognize these parts of yourself, these experiences, past experiences. I love the technique of rewriting your story. People say, well, that's not honest. I'm not talking about out and out lies, and this certainly isn't for somebody else. This is for yourself. What do I have to do with this experience to incorporate it in a safe way into my experience in my life and be able to be comfortable and live and function with it in a healthy, loving way?
You can learn to see your past in a different way. You can learn to see, rather than, oh, that was the worst thing that ever happened to me.
And stopping there. You don't want to stop there. You might recognize it and acknowledge that.
You can eventually, through the practice of mindfulness and by looking at things and yourself in a different way, you can say, oh yes, now I see how that experience has been for my benefit.
Maybe your teacher.
And think of how much.
Maybe a stepping stone to a different interest or a different place in life, a different.
It all depends on how much resistance we give it. Do you have that?
We'll get to that later. Yeah. And so she says, acknowledge any pain, emotional or physical, that you feel when you are in meditation. Just recognize it, acknowledge it, and allow it to be. And
you can
talk with it.
How long you hang out with a thought or a feeling like that it completely varies. You want to make certain that you don't shortchange the emotional experience, but the goal is eventually then to return to that state of love and appreciation, of joy, that state of peace through your meditation practice. And so, if your mind wanders, you want to hang out with that thought long enough to acknowledge it, but you don't want it to move in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to entertain it. One of the
You can learn from it, whatever it is.
invited in for tea, not to move, not to
Not,
move in.
not to move in.
Don't
just
move.
for
Let
tea.
it. Don't let it move
That's
in.
good. Yeah. And then she says, finally, in this list of concerns that most people have, is that they want to get there right now. We live in a world that's instantaneous. We want stuff to happen right now.
That's right.
And this is a process. It can be a lifelong process. You will find at different stages of your life that you've reached a threshold and you'll hang out there for a while. And then all of a sudden, it's like the sun dawns on a new day and you realize you have moved to a different place.
That's right.
And that's
I no
all
longer
good.
think obsessively about, this, that, or the other thing, whatever it is.
It's quite remarkable, the process of mindfulness, the energy, and the way of allowing it to become your teacher, to become your process for dealing with life experiences. So she says, take baby steps.
We're aiming for a 5% increase in consciousness. That's don't think that you're going to become a mind master overnight.
Think practice, don't think perfection.
That's right.
Think practice, 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 practice.
So
Remember,
how long?
it's what you practice that grows stronger.
How long should we meditate? If we are serious about learning some mindfulness techniques and becoming better at this, I think we need to start. They said this speaker says 12 minutes.
And she gives people permission, beginners, of course, she's talking to here, to go as much as a minute at a time.
That's right.
Because all you have really in life is a minute at a time.
That's right.
Actually, less than that.
But you actually do begin to see some real benefits.
Scientifically, they have determined that 12 minutes is the minimum in order to really see benefit,
That's
growth.
right. So if you were to aim for, the suggestion is shorter practices more frequently, rather than trying to sit down and meditate for an hour.
Oh, for a beginner, that would be almost impossible, I think. Our brain needs recreation.
Now,
for someone who's practiced, it's,
Yeah.
it goes in a eye blink.
that's right. I go back and forth. As my life situation has changed over the years, my meditative practice is also as variable. When I was much younger, I could sit cross-legged or on my knees and meditate for an hour or so. I never do that anymore. I absolutely never meditate for an hour anymore. Maybe when I retire. I'm too busy these days. But if I can get 20 minutes twice a day, now it's been a long time since I've actually been able to do that. But if I can do 20 minutes twice a day, I consider myself to be at the top of my spiritual game. It just helps.
And I'm sorry, I don't watch the clock.
You don't watch that
I have no sense of time with it. I used to live and work on Toni time, what I call Toni time. And when I meditate, it clicks in and that's where I am. So it's my time. And I'm blessed that I can do that, I think. I just really have no sense of time.
I've been very blessed that I can tap into meditation no matter where I am or what's going on around me. I really can take a break and just, chill out for a little bit. And I think that's just the perfect goal is not so much, because then it becomes one more thing on your to-do list. And that's one concept that just simply isn't helpful.
Not,
If meditation just simply is one more thing on your to-do list,
it's the wrong thing for you to be doing.
that's right.
Yeah. So then we get 3 clear steps to begin mindfulness. And some of these are repetitive because it's it's in there. The first one is intention. And this we talked about, and as Evan just reviewed it a few minutes ago, we have to have a clear intention as to why we are doing this. It's very important. It grounds the whole process. It grounds us so that we own it.
And my stock answer for why do we do this? Why do we study unity? Why do we,
Why do we live?
why do we live? And for me, the word is eudaimonia. For me, it is all about
That's just
human.
'cause you love that word.
I love that word. I love that word. Human flourishing. It is about just simply being happier. It is about,
Being healthier.
being healthier, having what you want to have, doing what you want to do, being who you want to be, and experiencing whatever it is that you want to experience because it is you, because it is who you are.
It will motivate you to have an intention. Ask yourself, why do I really want to be mindful and learn and practice this process of mindfulness? Let me tell you, if you live through the experience of yesterday and you are living through today and the coming few days, and if you're living through this pandemic and all these other things that are going on around us, that's a good motive. This is a good time to begin to motivate yourself to mindfulness, to practice mindfulness.
That's right. We are seeing things differently so we can respond effectively.
Right. We encourage you to write it down. Make yourself a list some way. I think these things are really good to post where you can find them. Put it on your bathroom mirror, put it by the kitchen sink, put it where you will look over your list every day at about the same time, and notice the changes, jot down the changes, because that's what will happen, is your motives will adjust. Your value that you put on various areas of your life will shift. They will change.
You'll begin to see what is and isn't as important to you. As you practice mindfulness, you begin to realize that some things just are not as important as you thought they were. And other things like love and joy and relationships and peace of mind, that's far more important than all of the stuff that we occupy our minds with usually.
And so kind of, then become aware. What does that tell you about yourself?
That's right.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Your values will change. They will adjust. And that's really a healthy thing to become aware of.
We want to start small, though.
Yes.
We want to start small. And Dr. Shauna says, set ridiculously low goals.
Remember, she was saying you can start as low as 1 minute to meditate, and you will be amazed at how long a minute can be if this is the first time you meditate.
That's right. Again, especially when you're new to the practice, set aside all distractions. You don't need special music. You don't need special this, that, or the other things.
No
Just
fuss.
see if you can center yourself and notice what you are thinking for an entire minute.
Yes.
And try to calm your mind.
Keep your goals simple. When you begin this practice, keep the goal very, very simple.
Set an appointment so that you do it at the same time every day.
That's helpful.
And again, it's absolutely wonderful if you have a place, a special room, a special chair, someplace that at 10 o'clock every day, I'm going to go to this room, sit in that chair, and meditate for 1 minute, 10 minutes,
Yeah,
however long
5
you've got,
minutes.
no matter what else is going
I
on.
remember when you had a setting, I think it was back in the, what were those called? Pre-cell phone? You had a pager.
I had a
In the
pager.
pager days, you used to have a setting for meditation times.
I was working at a particularly stressful job. It was just nonstop stress, and I learned to. Back in those days, I was carrying a beeper or early cell phone maybe, and I set it so that there was a timer, so that no matter what I was doing, and I think it was like at 10 o'clock in the morning, because I figured out that that's about the time I really needed a break. So that 10 o'clock, that alarm went off. I turned everything else off. I got away from my computer.
Yeah,
I
go
got
sit in the potty if you have to.
and
Lock the
I
door
said,
and buy yourself a few minutes
That's
of
right.
meditation, of mindfulness.
Mhm.
It will help you stay alive, live, be healthy, be strong.
You cannot
Keep
imagine
your-
the effects of
Yeah.
modern stress on our psyche, on our subconscious mind. It when you are stressed, you release all kinds of stress hormones. It shreds the immune system. You know, the damage that you do to your blood vessels and all of that through the stress that we acquire on a daily basis in modern life.
The third point that we have for clear steps to begin mindfulness is to make it a routine part of your life. It works if you work it.
That's right.
Yes.
So again,
So-
same time, same day, same. It really helps to make it a habitual thing.
And then we have some very specific thoughts about how to successfully move into a practice of mindfulness. And one of them is slow down. Slow down. We live in a do and do more time and society. And if you find yourself, like during this lockdown, where you need to sit for a few moments alone, locked in your house, or wait for people to clear so that you can practice safe moving into someplace, going someplace, or being someplace. For example, standing in line at the pharmacy or the supermarket and 6 feet apart. If that infuriates you, if that gets under your skin, think about it, recognize it, acknowledge it, and then tell yourself, I need to slow down. And simply walk it back, talk it back, slow down. Allow yourself that gift.
Check it. The practice of mindfulness really allows us to check in at where we are in consciousness at any given moment. And when we find ourselves upset, when we find ourselves troubled, we can say, you know what, stop. This is not who I want to be showing up as.
Yep.
This is so.
Enough.
Enough. And another point is acceptance. Just recognizing that there are some things in this life that you cannot change, or perhaps you can, but it's not yours to do.
Yeah.
It's not yours
Well, and
to
I
do.
love the AA phrase. What is it?
Grant me the
To recognize the what ability?
grant me the ability to recognize the things that I can,
that I can change.
the
Those things
the
that I
courage to change the things I can,
There you go.
the wisdom to know the difference,
yes, and that's really
accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things
There
that
you
I
go.
can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Gosh, you had to remind me of that one now, didn't you?
Yeah, it's been a while since you've practiced sharing that wisdom.
That's right. Used
And-
to just roll off the tongue.
And what our moderator shared with us was one of the things she shared with us was that sometimes when she's sitting in meditation, and I'm going to guess that she's one who sits for an hour in meditation or more on occasion, and sometimes she feels a pain. A pain will come into her back or something like that, or a painful thought. And she shared this about pain. One of her teachers told her that suffering equals pain plus resistance.
Pain times resistance.
Times,
Times
yes, I'm
resistance.
sorry. That dyslexia just flipped that on its
So,
side.
The general concept is that, this life, this human life has pain.
Yes.
We all have emotional, physical, or some sort of
And
psychological
no matter what
pain.
age, no matter where we are, we have this is one of our teachers in this life. That's the way I think about
Well,
it.
the Buddha says in Buddhist philosophy, in Buddhist teaching, the phrase is dukkha, that life is dukkha. Life is suffering. Life is pain. There is no way to avoid pain in this human life.
Right.
But how much
How
we
we-
suffer is
That is
optional.
optional. That is
How
our
much
choice.
and the difference is resistance. If we have a lot of resistance, to the emotional, physical, psychological pain that we feel, if we resist it, it multiplies that pain, and that is what makes more suffering. So if you have something that's like minor irritating, it's a 5 on the pain scale. But if you've got a lot of resistance to that,
You can blow it up to being a 10.
that's right. That's right. Suppose my resistance is at a 10, so 5 plus 10, I can have 50 units of suffering for 5 units of pain, or I can
Or-
choose to have no resistance.
And that will diminish it, and it will be relieved that much quicker.
So that pain times resistance, if you don't have any resistance, no matter how much pain you have, if you take X times Y, it's going to be 0. We can have 0 suffering, no matter how much pain we have.
And then we have learn to respond with flexibility. Learn to be flexible.
There is no one answer that works for everyone, every time, in every situation. So we have to learn how to see things in a changing environment. We have to learn how to see things differently.
And man, things seem to be very still and not moving. At the same time, they're moving at incredible speed all around us. And it's part of the stress and the pressure of this world and this time, this moment in time that we're living in. And so just acknowledge it, recognize it. But Dr. Shana suggested that we not let our amygdala, that's the little center in our brain,
That's the lizard brain.
yes, hijack us. Put us, and we all know people who go there. Whatever it is, they obsess over it. And it's not healthy.
I think, people talk about, that person can really punch my buttons. They sure know how to touch my buttons. Well, you're the one that allows them to touch your
Yeah.
buttons. There's a
Don't
button
give-
directly wired to your amygdala, and if you let somebody else touch your buttons, it just sends that shock up to your amygdala and go, Wow,
Well,
lizard
and
brain, full charge.
I wonder, I think some folks, they do essentially get high on the adrenaline rush, thinking that there's a problem when there isn't really a problem.
We get addicted.
Yeah.
It is a chemical addiction. We get addicted to anger. We get addicted to resentment. We get addicted to all kinds of useless, unnecessary suffering that
And
is completely avoidable.
Catastrophizing, that's a word.
Oh yeah,
Catastrophizing. And this right now,
awfulizing.
yeah, this right now is that time that we are living in, and don't allow it to have a home in you, in your mind and in your body temple. Don't automatically react to things. Don't do the same thing over and over again, responding and allowing your button to be pushed. Realize that you have choices and you can make changes. These are your domain, your powers. And then
part of that is suspending judgment. And people really just have no clue how much we go through our lives judging the world we see around us. And by judging, I mean condemning. Because we have good judgment. We have the power to discern, what we want versus what we don't want. This isn't that kind of judgment. The judgment that they're talking about here specifically is condemnation. We take a look out into the world and we can pick apart, oh, they're doing this wrong, or they should have done it that way, or, that.
this is really important right now as we go through this. The ballots at this time, 7/18, on Wednesday evening, November 4th, the ballots are not completely counted. The resolution, the solution is not in as to who's going to be the next president of the United States. No one truly knows. We have a process to go through. We need to trust and support our process, and we need to hold it in prayer and positive thought, and not put all this energy into it. And then we need to prepare ourselves to make friends with those folks who have voted differently, who believe differently. We absolutely need to grow peace in our world.
And a big part of that is suspending our knee-jerk reaction and need to judge.
Yeah.
When this I'm right, you're wrong, black and white system
Very unhealthy.
It just doesn't promote general well-being. It doesn't promote eudaimonia. It doesn't promote your flourishing.
So for the optimum happiness, for joy in your life experience, to be able to receive and give love, to share compassion, these are things that you can do. Learn to practice mindfulness. Don't assume that there is a right way. This was one of the things that my mother kind of taught me, because I at one time, I've written about this in Silent Unity, or in Unity, in one of our booklets. There was a time when I had no clue, and asked her, well, I don't know how to do that. And she said, you do it already. Mindfulness is truly a part of our inner makeup. It's part of our inner world. So when we allow ourselves to get in touch with that, it will come alive, it will spark, it will energize, just like all the rest of our being, of our possibilities, our powers, as Unity calls them. And this process will grow in you, and it will show you, it will guide you as to how to find that peaceful center.
but we have to be kind to ourselves.
Yes, we do.
We have to be kind to ourselves.
That is our last point for this evening.
That's right.
Kindness, how important.
It is one of the most elusive aspects of mindfulness. It is one of those things that we seem to find it difficult. Even when we can be kind to others, we are frequently very unkind
Sometimes.
to ourselves. Mindfulness turns the centers of learning of the mind on. We awaken to it. And if we practice a daily practice of meditation, of mindfulness, eventually what will happen is that we will come to a place of self-love. That is the real goal.
Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Love.
It's part of non-judgmental. It's not
Self-compassion.
judging yourself. So that's right.
Yeah, very important. And, one of the things you can practice is when you wake up in the morning, put your hand on your heart and say, "Good morning,
Good
Toni."
morning. Good morning, Evan.
And mean it and fill yourself with that beautiful energy. And eventually, if you need to say, "I love you, Toni."
I love you. I love you, Toni. But
I love you, Evan.
and I love you, Evan.
But be
Say
able
that to
to
yourself,
say
Fran.
that to yourself. There are people, and there are people in times in their lives when they literally can't get those words out of their mouths. We can be our hardest judge. We can be our worst friend. And so the important thing is to allow yourself to develop that inner friendship, that inner relationship, that self-awareness through mindfulness.
Self-awareness, mindfulness.
Be kind to yourself. Be kind to everyone, but be kind to yourself. It's so important.
And remember that what we practice grows. What we
Yes.
practice grows. So practice kindness. Practice non-judgmental attitude. Practice acceptance.
And slowing down.
That's right. You know what? It is that time. Let us have this offertory blessing together.
Divine love,
Divine love
flowing
through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. And
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God. And you can send your tithes and love offerings to paypal.me/UnityLincoln. That is paypal.me/UnityLincoln. Or if you're already on PayPal, you can send it directly to office@unitylincoln.org. If you're sending in the old-fashioned way via snail mail or bank transfer, you can send it to Unity Lincoln, P.O. Box 30209, Lincoln, Nebraska 68503. Or go to our website at unitylincoln.org and find a convenient link to donate via PayPal. You can also support Unity Lincoln by signing up for the Amazon Smile program so that every purchase that you make on Amazon.com supports Unity Lincoln. Please also remember, dear ones, to like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a comment. We so appreciate it when you do.
It's great fun to hear from you and to receive your gifts and receive your comments. And do be aware that we know Thanksgiving is coming. We are going to have a Zoom service, a Zoom gathering. We're going to share the meal at 1 o'clock via Zoom. And so if you would like to join us, you'll need to contact us at any of those ways at the office at unitylincoln.org. And just get the contact information because we don't want to post the Zoom addresses online on the web. It's not a safe thing for us to do because we don't want it to be taken away from us.
That's right. Let's share this. Give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, back in good measure. God gives it back to you. Sing it over. Give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Give and God gives it back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, back in good measure. God gives it back to you.
Thank you, God.
Thank you, God. And let us share this affirmation for our church family together.
Unity Lincoln is blessed to draw the people, funds, and all that is required for the health and growth of our community and peace in the world, heart to heart.
And remember to join us on Sunday morning for our Sunday morning's worship service at 10:30 a.m. every Sunday morning. Watch it live streamed on Facebook and on YouTube. And we also have Adeline's Friends Book Club, and they meet on Tuesday night. Now, they didn't meet last night.
Yes, because of the election.
Because of the election, but they meet regularly on Tuesday nights via Zoom. And then on Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock every Sunday morning, I come to you live with my metaphysics class. And metaphysics is just the study of truth. It's what some people would call philosophy or theology. And
interesting stuff.
Pretty interesting. We're talking, as a matter of fact, we've just gone through a self-awareness section in this class as well. All of this ties together. So, you know what? Let us share this prayer for protection before we close. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us.
And the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and all is well.
Oh, we are so grateful that you have.
We say, God bless you, dear ones. Just know that things are going to turn out the way they need to. We are moving through a major worldwide learning experience. And, you know, whatever happens, practice mindfulness. Take care of yourself.
Love is all we need. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love is all we need.
God bless you, dear ones. We'll see you next week.